Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to today's information session. My name is Wisdom Akpakia. I'm the principal consultant with Dow Immigration Consulting Services Limited here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, duly registered with the Immigration Consultant of Canada Regulatory Council. I'm also a member of Canadian Association of Professional Immigration Consultants. A few weeks ago, we started looking at a series, and we titled that series The Perks of Relocating to Canada. I started by giving an overview from a very, very broad and high-level perspective of some of the benefits you have when you relocate to Canada. But today we will be going into some more specifics. We have two seasoned professionals here with us today, Rod MacInnis and Tanya Boutilier, that would help us look into asset acquisition and owning a home here in Canada. Rod MacInnis is a senior mortgage advisor. He began his career as a mortgage broker in 1989. He opened his own firm within a few years and has continued as multiple award winner. His success is based on listening to the needs of clients and matching them to options available to them here in Canada. And he has become focused on many aspects of business, including first-time buyers and relocation. He looks forward to guiding you through the process of financing your new home here in Canada. The second person we have here today is Tanya Boutilier. Tanya is a licensed realtor with the Royal LePage. She is a multi-award-winning real estate agent. She has a strong background in multi-unit management and sales. She is passionate for the real estate industry. She has helped hundreds of families find and purchase their new homes in Canada over the last 16 years. She also looks forward to sharing from her experience benefits of home ownership today. I'd like to thank Rod and Tanya for taking out time from their busy schedule to be with us here today. I've known them for years now, and I've also benefited from their services. And I know that today's information session will be informative and highly engaging. I'm gonna make Rod welcome now to make his presentation, and Tanya would follow after. We should be able to take a few questions after the presentations here today. So if you do have a question, I'll encourage you to put your hands up. And after the presentations, we will take your questions. Thank you very much, and Rod, over to you.
Thank you, Wisdom. And thank everyone for showing up this afternoon to hear our introduction to mortgage financing. I know many of you are coming from countries where you have to pay cash to buy a house. As a new immigrant here in Canada, you're going to be able to buy a single family home for as little as 5% down. Now, there is some criteria to meet these requirements. And also, there's some points I want to draw to your attention. First and foremost, your down payment must come from your own resources. Those resources, the funds themselves have to be in your Canadian bank account at least 30 days prior to funding. Now, my experience in the past is that the funds are coming from multiple sources in your home country, and they're coming over in multiple deposits. And that's okay, providing we can confirm that the money's in your account at least 30 days ahead of time. For those who think that it's not a big deal, it really is. The banks will hold you up on that particular point. Your employment must be permanent full-time and not less than 3 months on the job. So they want the probationary period for your employment to be passed. Now, under the new immigrant program, what they're looking at is qualified individuals who have employment, who have their own down payment, but they haven't been here long enough to establish credit history or longevity in anything here in Canada. one of the things I want to emphasize to you, when you get to Canada, you're initially going to rent for a few months. And it's important to you to establish, number one, at least one utility bill in your own name and some history on your day-to-day banking. So again, once you get settled, get into that stuff, a lot of options are available to you for rentals. Those options often include utility bills being in the landlord's name. Please try and get them in your name. It's going to help us when we're putting your package together. Now, when you're coming with you, if you have available to you an international credit report, it's going to make my job a whole lot easier. We've got a number of lenders that participate in this program. Some of them are very rigid with their requirements. Others are a little bit more flexible. That flexibility is going to be driven by the amount of history on paper that you can bring with you for me to work with. The employment history, what they're looking for is roughly, tell me and show to me what you've been doing for the last 2 years in your employment. If you have paperwork, bring that with you. Again, it's going to be very helpful in processing that application for you. In addition to that, confirmation of residency status. And what I mean by that is that we have lenders available to you who will lend based on the landed immigrant status, where you've got a working permit for a reasonable period of time, and others will look for your current residency status. So whatever your status may be, we're going to need confirmation of that. All of these documents that we're looking for have to be made available to me when we're applying for that mortgage. And it's important to note that the services to obtain that mortgage, there's no charge to the client for this. This is something that the lenders take care of on their own on the back end. So there's no charge to you to have this, to take advantage of this service. We're going to go on to the next slide, if you can, Wisdom. For those of you who are on the outside and they're not quite sure when you're coming in, but you'd like to get started on the real estate side, you can purchase as a non-resident here in Canada. They're going to be very particular about the details. You can purchase up to 4 units. Minimum down payment on that type of a purchase is going to be 35% from your own resources, and they're going to look for us to confirm those resources as being legitimate. So again, they're going to go to your banking information, and they're going to look for, in most cases, a 90-day history to show that you've got the money from your own resources and it's not borrowed. And again, as with the first situation, your down payment must be in your Canadian account at least 30 days before closing. Foreign employment income must be confirmed by employment letter, pay stubs, tax statements, whatever you have, gather that together for me. And an international credit report, again, must be provided at the time of application. It's far easier for you to go to your source of your credit reporting agency in your own country and get a copy of that report to send to me than it is for me to try and get it here from Canada. And as with the previous case, all your documentation must be presented at the time of the application for the mortgage. And what I mean by that is that once you've found a property you're happy with and you've signed all the appropriate documentation, we're going to submit a full package to the lender. It's going to be far easier for them to give us an answer in a reasonable period of time if they've got everything laid out in front of them. So I guess the most important thing I want to drive home here is your documentation. As much as you can provide me, anything that you think is important, or for that matter, not important, that you have documentation on, make sure I have it, and we'll take it from there. And again, there's no charge for these services, whether you're buying as a non-resident or as a new resident of Canada.
Okay, so we will move over to Tanya now.
Hello. So first, again, I want to thank Wisdom as well for inviting us on here today. I hope you don't mind. I've got a few notes here just because there's so much to talk about. I want to keep this streamlined. Wisdom, I want to start by saying I really admire you for taking your experience of immigrating to Canada and using this to help others along their journey. So I'm sure they appreciate it as well. So part of that new life is going to include finding a new place to live. So you may be wondering, should I rent or should I buy? You might have to rent for a little while, but at what point do you decide you want to purchase the home? So I thought I could share with you the benefits of owning versus renting a home. As well, I'll walk you through the process and help you understand what's involved with it. So the first place you're going to start is selecting a realtor. So there's all kinds of different venues that you can do that. You can do that through your bank, through your mortgage people. You can talk to friends, family. Everybody will have a realtor they want to recommend. But really, you're looking for someone that's going to become your trusted advisor, your facilitator, and help negotiate on your behalf. And these are all going to be important stepping stones on your path to home ownership. So just kind of give you a brief synopsis of what the purchase process looks like. So once you select that trusted advisor, you're going to be looking for someone that is going to be your trusted advisor, again, not a salesperson. So basically someone that's going to be working in your best interest. Our Canadian Real Estate Association has really taken steps to ensure that you are finding someone that's working in your best interest. There is now something they call a buyer designated brokerage agreement. You do want to make sure that your agent asks you to sign one of these. And what that does is that obliges that person, your agent, to become legally responsible. And I reiterate, legally responsible for pursuing your best interests. In return, you're basically just saying that you're going to promise to exclusively work with them to help find a home. After that, you're going to arrange for a mortgage pre-approval. So you're going to do that with someone like Rod, a mortgage broker, and they're basically going to determine what you can afford based on your income. So how much money they're going to loan you. And that's going to give us a really good place to start on searching for homes. So next we'll sit down and we're going to do a needs analysis and determine what it is that you want and what you need in a new home. So for example, do you want to live in the city? Do you want to live in the country? Are you looking for a condo or a detached home? Do you need to be close to schools or work? So once we build all that, do you want 3 bedrooms? Do you want a garage? So what style of home are you looking for? That's when I go to work and start sourcing out homes that could potentially meet your needs. And then the fun part comes when we get to go shopping. So we get to go house to house looking at ones that'll possibly meet your needs. And hopefully you're going to get really excited about one of them and say, this is the house that I want. And at that point, we're going to make an offer. I'll help negotiate. I'll do up all the paperwork. We're going to negotiate with the sellers on the price and conditions that we want to meet. So the closing date, how long it's going to take to do it, if they're going to be putting in a new patio or decks or anything like that. So we're going to, once we come to an agreement with the seller, we now have 7 to 10 days, what we call a conditional period, to do all of your due diligence to make sure this is the right home for you and your family. In that 7 to 10 days, we're going to work on finalizing your mortgage and financing. We're going to arrange for home inspections, have a lawyer review all the paperwork, set up any home insurance that you need. So that can be a little daunting. That's where I'm going to help you with all of this every step of the way. So I have a list of service professionals that I'm going to refer you to or bring in, and I'm going to facilitate, I'm going to organize, arrange, so that you just basically can step by step through the process. And after that, once the 10 days is up and you're happy that this is the right home for you, basically there's nothing to do but sit back and wait until the closing day when you can make this your new home. So as like with Rod, you're probably wondering if there's no cost for his services. You're probably wondering how do real estate agents get paid? So basically the brokerage fees are generally paid through the transaction. And what this means is basically the real estate brokerage fees are rolled into the purchase price of the house. So the seller has already arranged, in most cases, to pay out, see, there's an asking question there, has already arranged to make sure that I myself am getting paid. So you're, whatever you agree on that purchase price of the home, there should be nothing up and above that cost for any fees for the real estate agents. I hope all of that makes sense. Wonderful. So next we're going to move on to the benefits, 5 benefits of home ownership. So again, why should you buy a house versus just renting a house? So Wisdom, if you want to go to the first slide there.
Okay. There you go.
So one of the first benefits is to build a stronger financial future. So asset wealth, and in this case, the house itself would be the asset, can be a much more secure predictor of your future than financial security from your income. So what that means is, what I mean by that basically is, in today's evolving economy, your income can change dramatically from year to year, but homes in Canada generally appreciate in value at an average of 3% to 4% every year due to inflation and population growth. And I say on average, some years it might increase 10%, some year it might increase 1%, but on every 5 to 10 years, you should be averaging about a 3 to 4% return on your investment. And for example, in the last 2 years in Canada, we've been especially lucrative here with an average growth rate of 8 to 10% range. So meaning if you purchased your house for $200,000 in 1 year, if it grew 10%, your equity in your house or your value of your house should be $220,000. So you just gained $20,000 worth of equity in 1 year. So that's one of the great ways home ownership helps you. So slide number 2 there. So home ownership for tax deductions. So you get a number of tax breaks when owning your own home, which can add up to big savings. Most notably, you get a tax deduction for the interest and property tax portion of your mortgage, which could equal thousands of dollars. This is most helpful in the first couple of years as the majority of your monthly payment will be going towards the interest, giving the biggest break of your tax savings annually. So that's going to help you. Of course, at the end of the year, you would employ the help of an accountant in most cases, and they're going to help you work all of these savings out so that you're not missing any benefits that way. So number 3, building equity with your home. This is probably one of my favorite ones. So this is a big benefit over renting, where you're paying comparable monthly fees without any of the perks of home ownership. So the equity in your home builds in 2 ways. So first off, as we talked about with the home inflation, the value of your home should be increasing generally 3 to 4% in a stable market. So that house that was worth $200,000 is now going to be worth $208,000, $216,000, all the way up. So in 5 years, it should be worth $240,000 if it was just building in an average year. So if you paid $200,000, you've just gained $40,000 worth of equity in the first 5 years of owning your home. Next, equity builds as you pay more of your loan. So every month you pay money towards your mortgage, your savings towards that future, you're saving towards your future. So for example, if you paid $200,000 for your home and you keep paying down that mortgage that you borrowed the money, and it's now you only owe $150,000 and your house is now worth $240,000, you've just gained $90,000 worth of equity, which is huge. So that's why some people actually refer to mortgage payments as a form of forced savings. You're saving money, it's like putting it in the bank. Number 4, more control over your expenses. So unless you change the terms of your mortgage, then you basically know what you're going to be paying to live in your home every single month, because your mortgage payment is going to stay the same month after month. This gives you more stability over paying rent, as it can change and often does. So as inflation goes up, usually your landlords have to put their rents up as well. So that can increase from year over year. Also, as a renter, you don't have any say if your landlord provides you with energy saving heating sources, appliances, which can cost you hundreds of dollars a year. But when you own your own home, you do have a little more control over those types of things. You can put in something like heat pumps that will save you over oil furnaces. You can put in energy saving appliances, energy saving light bulbs, even go as far as windows and doors. And all these little things add up to big savings at the end of the year. So as a homeowner, you can make better short and long-term decisions that will directly benefit you and your wallet at the end of the day. Number 5. Do I switch there? Okay, so positive perks of home ownership. Home ownership gives you a stronger purchasing power that may come in handy down the road. So a mortgage is considered what we call good debt. And what we mean by that is basically the banks are going to be looking at how much equity you have in your home. So even though you owe money on it, it's actually building in value every year. So as such, it's likely to increase your credit score, providing you always make all your payments on time. It also improves your credit worthiness for other things. So if you may want to consider buying, like say you're looking at doing a business loan or lines of credit, they're going to look at how much equity you have in your home, and that's going to strengthen your buying power. So these benefits shouldn't be the deciding factor in whether or not you buy or home, but the benefits of building your net worth do add up over time. Next one there.
Okay.
So what are some of the risks? So all of these benefits, you're probably wondering what's the downside. So like with any other investment, there do come some risks involved. Owning a home isn't all about building equity and cutting costs. So beside the significant initial down payment that Rod mentioned earlier that you would put down, when purchasing a home, there are some other financial risks homeowners should keep in mind. So the biggest financial risk for homeowners is in the terms of maintenance costs if you're not prepared. So there's and there's no landlord basically to take care of this if you have a problem. So if your roof starts leaking or your heating source breaks down in the middle of the winter, you have nobody to call and take care of it but yourself. And if you didn't plan for that by putting money aside, then that can be a significant cost out of your pocket. So repairs like these don't happen very often, but they do happen. So it's important to have savings put aside for when they do. Then there's the risk of home depreciation. I should touch on this. It's not something that we see a lot of around here, but basically it's the land your home sits on that gains value over time. So barring no negative major changes to the area, so for example, natural disasters, some big environmental upset, major businesses opening or closing. In Canada, we have a lot of oil and gas industry for starters. And when we see that fluctuate, we can sometimes see the host values fluctuate if they're ramping up or scaling down their oil and gas production. That's going to affect the income of those people in those areas. So that can affect the value of your home as well. So, and your home itself tends to depreciate in value organically if you just let things get worn out and you're living in it day to day. So you really, while you don't have a lot of control of what happens around you in your neighborhood, fortunately do have control over maintaining and increasing the value of your home by keeping up on maintenance and doing home improvements. So with all that said, you want to make sure that you do take care of your investment. So it's going to take care of you for many years to come, and you can use that for your financial security in the future. So Wisdom, I'll give it back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rod and Tanya, for taking our time to be with us today. I'm sure we all have learned a thing or two from all that you both have shared with us today. Just to remind us that this session is recorded and it will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. So if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, would like to encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and then hit the notification bell or button so that you will get notified when this video gets uploaded. I would also want to encourage you to follow us on our various social media handles. We have them displayed right now on the screen. Our phone number, again, if you have further questions and you want to contact us directly, our phone number is +1 902 802 0512. Our email address is info@dowimmigration.com. Our website is www.dowimmigration.com. Our handle on all social, across social media would be @Dow Immigration. So if you have further questions, I would encourage you to reach out to us. And also, if you want to reach Tanya directly or Rod directly, I'm just going to scroll back quickly so that you can take a quick peek of their contact information. They're more than happy to take your personal questions and try to give you answers. So this would be for Tanya, and then this is for Rod, if you want to take a quick peek so that you will reach them directly. On this note,
Wisdom.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was just going to add there, as promised, I'm going to send you over the PDF for it's a first-time home buyer's guide, which is very detailed, and it'll walk you step by step through every step in the purchasing process. So I'll forward that to you to add to your link to your YouTube video.
Okay, thank you very much, Tanya. So she will be forwarding that document to me, and I would also upload that with the video just to provide some further guidance there for those people that would want that. On this note, we have come to the end of today's online information session. We'd like to thank everyone for participating, those that have asked questions and those that followed us from the beginning to the end. And until we come your way again, stay safe.